What is up, Buck? I'm Doug with Dini in the Garage. Today we're doing a video on SKIM in Jeep, Dodge, Chrysler vehicles. We're going to go over all the information, what it is, what components are part of SKIM, how to diagnose it, and how to fix a broken SKIM system. There's going to be a ton of information in this video, so if I'm not saying exactly what you're looking for, make use of the chapters down below. All right, first and foremost, what is SKIM? Well, it's Chrysler's proprietary security system that they used in their vehicles, some vehicles, from about 1998 to about 2004. Specifically, you could find it on the TJ Wrangler from 98 to 06, not all models. It was an option on the Sahara and the Sport. It came standard on the Rubicon, the Grand Cherokee WJs, both the 4.7 liter Limited and the 4.0 liter Laredo had SKIM, all Grand Cherokees from 99 to 04. It was an option on some late model high trim XJs. It's not any standard where you'll find it on XJs. Not many of them have it, but it is possible to find SKIM on late model high trim XJs. Additionally, the KJ Liberty or 3rd gen Cherokee, depending on what part of the world you're living in, most were equipped with SKIM. The 2002 to 05 1500 and 2500 Dodge Ram trucks had it on the higher trim, like your Laramie and your SLT. The Dodge Dakota and the Dodge Durango had it from 2001 to 2003, all models. The 2000 to 2005 Dodge Neon had it on the higher trims like the Highline and the ES. And then the Chrysler 300 and the Concorde from 99 to 04 had it on all models, as did the PT Cruiser from 2001 to 2005. Now, notably, the Grand Cherokees from 96 to 98 did have a security system optional. It is not SKIM. It's known as VTSS, and it is housed in the body control module, and there are codes you can pull off the OBDII scanner to get to that system. Additionally, any vehicles after 2005 made by Chrysler, Jeep, or Dodge are going to use either SKREEM or WCM wireless control module. Both of those systems are much more complicated. They work on the 2-wire CAN bus, and they result in a no crank, no start situation when they go bad. You get no response from the key at all. That's different from SKIM. Let's go over the components of a SKIM system so I can explain to you how they work. Every SKIM system is going to have a programmed chip key, either one of these gray ones or the exact same thing in black. Additionally, they're all going to have a SKIM module that is located underneath the steering column cover, and it includes a module box connected by a thin piece of plastic with a halo. Inside of that halo is the receiver that picks up the code sent by the chip inside this key. If you have anything wrong with the transmitter in the key or the receiver in the SKIM module, your vehicle's not going to start. Now, that SKIM module, once it has gotten the code from the key, sends that signal to the PCM, the main computer for the vehicle. So the third component after the key and the SKIM unit is going to be the PCM. This chip's code is programmed to that SKIM module and to that PCM. You can't change just the PCM, just the key, or just the SKIM module and have anything work. Additionally, if you have one of these WJs from 99 to 04, your SKIM does one other thing. It's also responsible for your remote keyless entry. So if you want to fully change a SKIM system on a WJ, Grand Cherokee from 99 to 04, you need the key that matches the SKIM module, that matches the PCM, and then you also need the fob and the passenger side door module. That is where the receiver for this fob is, and it needs to match the code with this key. So, if you have SKIM on your vehicle and there is either something wrong with your key, your module, your PCM, or the wiring or voltage in between any of those things, here's what's going to happen. You're going to put your key in your Jeep, everything's going to seem normal. You're going to turn it on, it's going to start, it's going to run for 2 seconds, and it is going to die. And you can do that all day, and it's never going to run for longer than 2 seconds. Why? Because SKIM kills your fuel pump after 2 seconds if it does not have all the parameters that it needs. That's how it provides security to your vehicle. So if somebody tried to start your vehicle by hot wiring it or putting a screwdriver in the ignition or something, it will not start. The problem is, it won't start for you either if there's an issue with any of those components. So how do you tell if you have SKIM? A lot of the vehicles that came on it was an option. Well, the first thing you can do is look at your key from that time period. If you have the thicker key, it's about 1/4 inch, maybe a little bit more in thickness, this is a chip key. More than likely you have SKIM. Additionally, you can come over to your steering column and pop the covers off and just take a look, see if you have a SKIM module under there. I'm sure I will have already included a picture in the video, but here's what the SKIM module looks like. This is the electronics part of it. Here is where it links in, and then over here, this is the connection where the wires run through, and then the halo goes right around where your key goes. So when you're plugging your key in, it's right there to be read by the receiver. And then the final way to tell if you have SKIM is just to get in the vehicle and roll it to the on position. And if you have this little key signal up there, this guy right there, that means you have SKIM in your vehicle. Outside of that, I'll leave a link below where you can get a Mopar build sheet for your vehicle with your VIN. I think it only works for vehicles from 98 and up, but it will let you know everything your vehicle left the factory with, including if the optional SKIM was included. All right, so you're having a problem with your vehicle and you suspect that it is in fact SKIM. How do you confirm that it's the SKIM? Well, the #1 giveaway is the 2-second start up and die. There are other things that will do that to a vehicle: bad fuel pressure, holes in your fuel. A number of things can do that, but most of the time, if you have a Chrysler vehicle from 98 to 04 and it runs for 2 seconds and then dies, that's probably a SKIM issue. There's also a light on the dash. So here we are in the vehicle. Our SKIM is disconnected. If I go to start it, runs for 2 seconds and then it dies. 2 seconds and then it dies. But you'll notice the SKIM light isn't there. It doesn't come on if your SKIM unit fails. You'll only get the light if you have a programming issue, meaning the SKIM is working, but it's picking up the wrong key, or the PCM isn't recognizing the code that the SKIM is sending it, or some other issue like that. If you have a catastrophic failure or you're not getting voltage to your SKIM system, you're not gonna get the light, you're gonna have to rely on some other things. Now, there are codes that you can pull off of the vehicle, but you need a special scanner. You need to either be able to pull dealer or manufacturer codes and or body module codes, which not all cheap scanners will do. These are the codes you can pull off of Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep vehicles that will lead you directly to SKIM. P0513, invalid SKIM key, meaning the key is recognized as a SKIM key, but it's not sending the correct code to the SKIM module. P1685, SKIM invalid key. This means that the PCM has forgotten the code that the key is programmed with. Sometimes when you change your battery, this will happen, but more likely if you get a voltage spike, if you hook a battery up backwards, you have an alternator regulator issue, you may run a situation where your PCM forgets your key. P1686, no SKIM bus message received. If the PCM can't find the SKIM at all, if you have a damage in the wiring or in the SKIM module itself, you will get this code. U0100, lost communication. This just means there's a general failure and it can't find the SKIM unit at all. Again, if there's a wiring issue, a ground issue, a continuity issue, you may get this code. That's the end of the codes that apply directly to SKIM. If you can't find a code, but you are shutting down for 2 seconds at a time, there's a very good chance that you do have a SKIM issue. What can you do about it? Alrighty friends, please excuse the venue change. I've recorded this section 3 times and I just can't seem to get it right. It's either... Wouldn't you know, friends, I didn't get it that time either, but we're out here in the fresh air. I've upped my caffeine intake. Let's see if we can't do this one the right way this time. So you've established that you probably have a SKIM issue. The first tree we need to cut down is that you cannot bypass SKIM. I can't tell you how many of the Reddit and forum and YouTube posts I've seen suggesting there's some way to give power directly to your fuel pump, or my favorite one, there's this persistent myth that there's a yellow and purple wire underneath the steering column, and if you just cut them and connect them together, it'll just bypass your SKIM. I don't know what it actually does, but it doesn't bypass SKIM because SKIM goes deeper than just shutting down your fuel pump. That is what you are experiencing when it shuts down after 2 seconds, but it also kills your PCM. So even if you find a way to get spark and you get power to your fuel pump, you won't have your crank and your cam position sensors. Motor's not going to run right. So we can either replace the components for SKIM, we can fix the components for SKIM, or we can delete SKIM. Those are your only 3 options. Let's start with fixing the components for SKIM. Well, if it's an issue where your key or your computer became deprogrammed, you can take it to the dealership and they will reprogram it for you. I don't know what that goes for these days. If it's a computer that's been swapped from one vehicle to another, they won't do it. It has to be the original key, original computer. It's kind of a hassle, but you can either buy new SKIM components and then have everything reprogrammed, or have your old ones reprogrammed if they become deprogrammed. Additionally, I mentioned the SKIM module itself sometimes develops cracks in the soldered joints. If you have the ability or you know someone who can reflow, you can fix that yourself. All that said, your best bet if you do have a SKIM issue is just to delete the darn thing. Most people do it by taking your ECU out or buying one from a junkyard and sending it to any one of the thousands of programmers that exist in the world now. And what they can do is they remove SKIM, they tell the computer not to look for it during the startup process. As long as you remove your SKIM module, you will never have another problem again. The reason that you have to remove your SKIM module is if you have a non-SKIM computer, the SKIM ability still exists in that computer, it's just not turned on. And if it senses a SKIM module, it will pick up the SKIM and now it wants to be married to that SKIM module. So if you do delete yours, make sure you take your SKIM module out before you connect your new ECU. The way I like to delete SKIM, and I've done this and I have a video on it which I will link, is I went to the junkyard and I found another Mopar vehicle that had the same motor as mine but didn't come with SKIM. In my case, I needed a computer for a 4.7 liter V8. I found a low trim 1500 from 2003, had the 4.7, had the same computer, but didn't have SKIM. I took the computer home, disconnected my SKIM module, plugged it in my Jeep, and everything worked fine. The oil pressure gauge was finicky, but I think that's on the Jeep side. So that's another option for deleting SKIM very easily if you have a junkyard near you, or you can get a hold of one online. Another thing to note when you're going after a SKIM issue is that there are a number of fuses and grounds and obviously wires that service your SKIM system. So you need to find those grounds and fuses and ensure that they are okay. And in most vehicles, all vehicles that I've encountered with SKIM, there's a number of fuses and a number of grounds that service your SKIM system. Specifically in my WJ over there are 2 SKIM fuses inside the vehicle as well as 1 in the power distribution block underneath the hood, and there are 2 separate grounds that service the SKIM system and its various components. If you're looking for the ground information on WJs, I have 2 separate videos, one on the 4-liter WJ, one on the 4.7 WJ, has every single ground, where to find it, what it looks like, and what it does. I will leave those videos linked if you need that information. If you're trying to find the ground or fuse information on a different Chrysler vehicle, I did some quick Googling on all the vehicles that came with SKIM, and there are more than enough forums as well as YouTube videos on everything. The Neon, the PT Cruiser, even that crazy 300M and the Concorde, obviously the 1500 Dakota, Durango. There are individual forums that can tell you exactly where the grounds and the fuses are for your vehicles. This video would have been an hour and a half long if I assembled all that information here. Obviously, you could also go to a junkyard and replace all of the components, but you do have to replace all of them, or you'll have to take it to the dealership to get it reprogrammed, and they're probably not going to do it because the components are not from the vehicle that they're in now. Dealership likes to kind of got you like that. Friends, that's all I have to tell you about SKIM. I really hope I got that final bit right this time and I don't have to record it again. If you do have a question, by all means, leave a comment down there in the squawk boxes. If I cannot help you, somebody else in the amazing D&E community absolutely is going to have your answer. It's just sort of how it works around here. If you like the video, that's common sense. Subscribe to the channel. I do a ton of videos like this. I actually do a ton of channels like this. So if you liked what I did here and you're interested in small engines, I have Doug V Carburetors, a small engine channel. I also do history and fact videos on the Dougmore. They will be linked at the end of this video and below if you just can't get enough of this talking face. As a final note, if any one of you leaves me a comment suggesting that I should go into my Jeep, cut the yellow and purple wire, and then connect them together to bypass SKIM, I'm gonna come through this phone at you. No, seriously though, you can't bypass SKIM. Stop trying. It's futile. Thanks so much for watching. See y'all in the next one.